And we're going to put our camera on mute for now. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get moving. The 17th Annual General Meeting of the College of Medical Laboratory Technologists of Manitoba will now come to order. My name is Matthew Bueno de Mesquita. Call me Matt. I am a practicing MLT and the current chair of the CMLTM Council. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the College of Medical Laboratory Technologists of Manitoba is built on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to everyone attending our 17th Annual General Meeting. Please remember that meetings of the CMLTM are conducted in a harassment-free, respectful environment. With that in mind, please set your microphones to mute. This is the 6th year CMLTM is utilizing online technology and providing a webcast in an effort to be more cost-effective and provide flexible access to attend the CMLTM Annual General Meeting. Members were required to pre-register prior to gaining access to the webcast. Please submit your questions through the chat panel and they will be read aloud. I will also say in passing that if it sounds like I'm reading, it's because I am, in order to stay on topic and moving forward. The first order of business is the presentation of the credentials report and who we have in attendance. So Adam.
So in person, there's 3 of us. Online, there's currently 23 people logged in. I see 1 guest from that is Deborah Hansiak. Are there any other guests that stayed on past the original presentation?
Can you define what a guest would be?
A non-CMLTM member.
Registered. Thank you.
Is our parliamentarian included in those numbers?
Yeah. Oh, so that would make it
21.
So that's me.
total of 21 and 1 guest.
Actually, guess, right?
That is sort of
Or 3 guests. Just Janelle.
Are there any objections to having the guests present at this meeting? We'll pause here. Right. As there are no objections, we shall proceed as planned. Regarding quorum, according to our bylaw Article 4, meetings section 1.4, the quorum of the annual general meeting of the college shall be whoever attends and is entitled to vote. This brings us to agenda item 3. In order to accomplish our business fairly at these meetings, it is necessary to ask for your assistance in following some customary rules. We have adopted the following as permanent standing rules for annual general meetings. The rules were posted with the notice of the meeting. I will first read the standing rules of procedure. If you would like to follow along, we'll project them for those attending online. The purpose of an annual general meeting is for council to report to the membership on the college's activities during the past year and to receive feedback from the members. There are 10. Hold tight. The rules are designed to facilitate the exchange of information and ensure that everyone who attends has the opportunity to be heard. 1, expect, as specified in the standing rules or the Act, regulations, and bylaws of CMLTM, the rules of procedure at the meeting shall be governed by the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised. 2, voting members shall consist of the college members of CMLTM registered and participating online. The number of online voting members will be noted at the beginning of the meeting and added to the credentials report. 3, members will vote using the polling function. Members will have approximately 15 seconds to cast their vote. 4, any member may ask questions and participate in discussion. To ask a question or participate in discussion, a member can use the online chat function or raise their hand virtually. 5, The presiding officer will recognize members in the order in which they are received through the online chat function. 6, motions must be in writing and signed by the mover, who must be a voting member. Any members may second the motion. Motions submitted online will be written down by webinar monitors, submitted to the chair and read aloud. 7, a member may speak only twice to an agenda item. An exception may be made for the mover, who may be asked by the presiding officer to respond to points of clarification. 8, an agenda item or motion may normally be debated for no more than 15 minutes. Additional time may be allocated for debate on a motion by 2/3 vote of the assembly. 9, under the item of new business, any motion brought under this item will be taken as a recommendation to the council. 10, the council shall have the authority to approve the minutes of the AGM, which shall then be circulated for the information of all members. Having now counted to 10, we will proceed to item agenda number 4, approval of the agenda. The agenda was distributed via email with the original notice of the AGM. The agenda is also posted on the CMLTM website and is posted on the webcast. In accordance with our standing rules, the order of business is printed in the agenda. Subject to the consent of the voting members, items of business may be taken up in a different order wherever appropriate. If there is no objection, the agenda will be adopted as circulated. So now is the moment where we will pause for any objections regarding the agenda. Since there are no objections that we've heard at the moment here, the agenda is adopted as circulated. Which brings us to agenda item 5, introductions. I would now like to take a moment to introduce our 2023 council and committee chairs. So, Adam, I believe you are going to attempt to put up our glamour photos. The council chair, that is myself. Hi. It's an all right photo. It'll do. Number 2, the vice chair, Stephen Wu, our public representative. Our treasurer is Kevin Simonetto. Our secretary is Christy Peetson. Our members at large are Amina Kazir and Jazia Laforêt. Public representatives are Stephen Wu, Cynthia Rempel-Patrick, and Rajinder Paul Buller. The chair of our board of assessors is Prashant John. The chair of our continuing competency committee is Natalie Cheput. The chair of our complaints committee is Maria Bobiles. The chair of our inquiry committee is Amina Kizar. Thank you to everyone for all of your hard work this year. You've done, all of the work that you've done is valued. We appreciate you. I would now like to introduce the staff. Our registrar and CEO is Adam Trobak. The deputy registrar is Tricia Van Tanneker, and our administrative assistant is Janelle Baril. Thank you, staff, for keeping the CMLTM running smoothly with your dedication. Janelle will also be our recording secretary for this meeting. I would also like to acknowledge any members of the public who have joined us today and say thank you for taking an interest in medical laboratory technologist regulation in Manitoba. This brings us to agenda item 6, introduction of our parliamentarian. I'm pleased to introduce Heather Iwasiuk as our parliamentarian for today's meeting. The parliamentary authority used by the college is the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised. Thank you, Heather, for being here today. That brings us to agenda item 7, the appointment of scrutineers. Since the meeting is online only, there is no need to appoint scrutineers. Voting results are captured electronically by this system, which is a good thing. Item number 8 is the chair's address. So having just spoken a whole bunch, I hope you don't mind if I continue to speak, as it's my privilege to be able to communicate with you this morning what I feel are the achievements and important points that the CMLTM have been working on. So welcome everyone to the 2023 CMLTM AGM. Thank you for being with us today and taking an interest in the regulation of our profession. Your participation today is important and valued. It goes without saying that our MLT profession, as well as the entire healthcare system, have been forever changed by the global pandemic. Not all of the changes have been negative. There is renewed attention on the quality and availability of healthcare for all Canadians. The CMLTM's mandate is to regulate our profession for the purpose of ensuring public protection. We believe that an inadequate number of MLTs working in healthcare is a public safety issue. To address this problem at a national scale, the Canadian Alliance of Medical Laboratory Professional Regulators, CMLPR for short, of which the CMLTM is an active and leading member, is working on the Employment and Social Development Canada ESDC funded project, Flexible Pathways to Registration for MLTs. This project will explore and develop alternative ways to evaluate and register internationally educated MLTs and applicants whose education does not qualify them through the current process, reviewing and developing entry to practice competencies to ensure they reflect current laboratory workplace requirements, and streamlining the registration process for individuals whose backgrounds and preparations equip them to work as MLTs in their fields of practice. In July, the Manitoba government announced the Manitoba Careers for Internationally Educated Professionals program to help reduce financial barriers associated with foreign qualification recognition. To quote Manitoba Health's press release, the program will provide eligible internationally educated professionals with up to $23,000 in financial assistance towards assessment and training costs associated with registering in one of Manitoba's 28 non-nursing self-regulated professions. The recent pandemic has placed a spotlight on the limitations and pressures on the healthcare system, including the importance of the MLT profession. All levels of government, as well as the many stakeholders with vested interest in the success of our healthcare system, are interested in reducing barriers to registration and increasing the number of healthcare professionals. What we do with these changes, how we implement, adapt, and collaborate moving forward will set the tone and pathway for years to come. Over the past year, we've started this process of moving forward by looking inward. We've reviewed many policies and moved forward with projects that we have felt are important, such as putting into action our commitment to Indigenous truth and reconciliation. A policy to which we dedicated a great deal of our time, thought, and effort is the substantial equivalency for limited practice. We've also done extensive work reviewing and updating our budget, including a switch to a new auditing firm. We are moving forward with the important project of transitioning to the Regulated Health Professions Act, the RHPA, which includes our work identifying and applying for the authority to perform reserved acts. Of note, work with the Regulated Health Professionals Act involved the application to regulate MLAs, which I'm sorry to say has yet to be accepted by the province and has since all but stalled. While this work is a good start, we still have a long way to go. This is why it's important that we as MLTs step up and get involved with the process of self-regulation. Volunteering with the CMLTM is not only personally rewarding, but also meaningful and impactful. There is significantly more to the CMLTM than membership fees and continuing education audits. The CMLTM and the work that it does would not be possible without the consistent efforts of the CMLTM staff. I would like to sincerely thank Adam, Tricia, and Janelle for all the hard work that they put into the CMLTM, work that they do professionally, efficiently, and always collaboratively. Serving as council chair has been a privilege, and although not always easy, it has been an excellent experience. It's my hope that I've been able to serve our professional community well, and I thank you all for the opportunity. With that said, I would like to thank you for your attention and encourage you to vote and participate as we move forward with the agenda of the AGM. Thank you, everyone. That concludes my written prepared little speech, which brings us to agenda number 9. I'd like to now turn the microphone over to our registrar, Adam Trobach, for the registrar's report.
Thank you, Matt. Matt covered quite a few topics that I will also try to cover. First thing I would like to say was, as a regulator, I was excited to have Harry Caton as our guest speaker. It's almost like having a rock star in the room. I was excited when he agreed to be our guest speaker. So, as Matt mentioned, it has been a very busy year last year, and moving into this year, we have been working very hard with the health, Manitoba Health Legislative Unit on our transition to the Regulated Health Professions Act. We have submitted our reserved application earlier this year. We went through several consultations with other health professions and stakeholders in the healthcare system. I have been informed that our application has been accepted. It has not been completely approved yet. Part of the reason is that we are currently in an election period, and some departments are allowed to do certain things, and that's sort of a stall, but we have been assured that the reserved acts we applied for have been approved. Matt did mention also that last year we were asked to submit an application for the regulation of the MedLab assistants and the combined laboratory X-ray technologists. That was submitted. It was reviewed by the Deputy Minister. It has been referred to the Assistant Deputy Minister of Health. We haven't heard much from that office, but I did have a meeting the other day that they will be looking at the application, so we should be hearing something about that soon. So even though Matt said that it's stalled out, it seems like it may have started up again. We have our fingers crossed. I think it's a very important step to provide, as Harry said, our mission is to ensure safety, and all of our decisions are in the best interests of the public. And council has committed or made a commitment, or their viewpoint is that all lab professionals working in the lab should be regulated. That includes the lab assistants and CLXTs. So we're trying to get that done. We're close to having our draft regulations ready for council to look at. Again, the election put a bit of a pause on that work, but we are still working on what we can during that period. I expect that we should have a draft ready to go to council and eventually to the drafters, probably towards the end of November, beginning of December, which, if everything goes well, we should be looking at public consultation sometime in April or May. But again, you've probably heard me say that similar thing last year. A lot of this process is not driven by us. It's the government and their priorities that dictate the timeline of how things get done. I think that's the major items that we have covered this year. If you have questions, we can talk about those later on. I'll hand it back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Adam, for your report. As Adam said, we will take questions later on in the meeting. Which brings us to agenda item 10, which regards to the 2022 AGM minutes. The minutes of the 2022 annual general meeting were approved during the October 22nd, 2022 council meeting. They've been posted on the CMLTM website and were circulated with the AGM notice. Agenda item 11. The 2022 annual report has been previously approved by council. The annual report was circulated with the AGM notice and is available for viewing on the CMLTM website. We will not be reading the reports during this meeting. However, you will have the opportunity to ask questions by using the chat function. The first report is from the registrar, found on page 3 of the annual report. Are there any questions regarding the registrar's report? The floor is open. We're looking to the chat. Adam, do you want to pull up the chat, please?
Moving the chat over.
So I don't see any questions at this time. So next, I would like to touch on the report from the council chair, found on page 4. Are there any questions regarding this report? As we're moving through this, I would imagine that those of you who do have questions, might be frantically trying to figure out your wording and post them. So please do just post any point. We've got a bunch of reports that I'm going to work through here, asking for questions. Raise your hand if you'd like to speak instead of being forced to frantically type. And also too, if I do move on too quickly for you, please do post your question. The next report was written by the public representative, found on page 6. Are there any questions regarding their report? On page 7 of the annual report is the complaints committee report. Are there any questions regarding the complaints committee report? Following page 7 comes, also on page 7, my apologies. The inquiry committee report can also be found on page 7. Any question regarding Brad's report? If not, we will move to page 8 of the annual report, which is the nominations committee. Our last year's chair, Sajid, is the chair. Any questions for Sajid's report? Hearing none, we'll move to the Board of Assessors report, which is also on page 8 from the wonderful Gloria McTavish. Any questions regarding this report? Hearing none, we'll move to the next report. Was written by the Continuing Competency Committee. It's on page 9. Are there any questions for the Continuing Competency Committee and their report? Quickly pause one more time to allow any questions regarding the annual report, in case anyone is still typing. All right, Adam, we're definitely at the bottom of that chat window, yes?
Yep.
Great. Agenda item 12. Actually, before we move to 12, I would like to say thank you to the public representatives and our committee chairs for their reports. It is work and valued that they chair our committees and that the public representatives show up to our council meetings and actively take part. So thank you all. Agenda item 12 is the auditor's report, and it was prepared by FH Black, Chartered Professional Accountants Incorporated, and has been approved by council. It was pre-circulated with the AGM documents. It can be found on page 10 of our annual report. Are there any questions regarding this report? Don't see any hands or any typing. Please, if you're in the middle of typing something, please do continue. We'll circle back. If none, we will move on to agenda item 13, appointment of the auditor. Council recommends the appointment of FH Black and Company Chartered Professional Accountants Incorporated for the auditor services for the 2023 financials. There is a motion to approve FH Black and Company Chartered Professional Accountants Incorporated as the appointed auditor for the 2023 CMLTM financial audit. That has been moved by Cynthia Remper-Patrick and seconded by Stephen Wu. Is there any discussion regarding this motion that we will call motion number 22:38 under agenda item 13? Hearing no discussion or seeing no discussion. The question is on the approval of FH Black and Company as the auditors for the 2023 financial year. The online poll will be opened right now by Adam. Please vote. Is the poll open now, Adam? Excellent.
Currently have 12 votes.
12 votes, all right. Somebody's still there and listening. Thank you.
That's 15 seconds if you want to close.
Are any more votes coming in?
We're at 13. It looks stalled out. You want to call last call?
Sure. Adam, will you please read the numbers?
So there were 13 in favor and 0 not in favor.
That means that the motion has passed. The affirmative has it, and the motion is adopted. And FH Black and Company Chartered Professional Accountants Incorporated will be the CMLTM auditors for the 2023. Thank you all for your participation. Agenda item 15. The nomination committee report. The chair of the nominations committee, Sajid Chand, will be presenting the report. So I'm hoping Sajid is online and able to unmute himself.
Actually, I don't see him online.
Is he not online? Well, in that case, I will do my best to fill in his absence. I apologize that you will continue to hear my voice for the next little bit here. Can you confirm that he's actually not online?
He's not in the participation list, so he's not online.
Okay. In Sajid's words, it is my pleasure to provide you with the nomination report for 2023. There were 2 3-year positions available on council and a vacant council position with 2 years remaining on the term. We received 2 expressions of interest before the deadline. Council has appointed Jessiel Laforêt and Jackie Tower to a 3-year term on council. Congratulations, Jessiel and Jackie. There is still a vacant position on council with 2 years remaining on the term. Interested individuals can submit a resume to the CMLTM office. Council will appoint a member to the vacant position from the resumes received. I would like to welcome Jessiel Laforêt and Jackie Towers, the new members, to the CMLTM Council for 2024. I would like to encourage all members to consider running for council in future years. There are many benefits to serving on the CMLTM Council. Please refer to the article in the Fall 2019 newsletter to gain an understanding of these benefits. And that concludes Sajid's words. I personally would like to encourage anyone who is online listening to us still currently, demonstrating an interest in the important regulatory work and the act of self-regulation to take part. We welcome all voices. I would also like to thank our outgoing member of council, Christy Peetson, for her contributions on the CMLTM Council. From the CMLTM Council staff and members, we thank you. That brings us to agenda 16, new business. Before I open the chat function to members, I would like to make everyone aware of another volunteer opportunity. The CMLTM is looking for individuals to serve on committees, including potentially as being chair of a committee. Members interested in serving on a committee may also contact the CMLTM office for more information. I can personally say that being on council can be a thing that is a fairly rewarding commitment. Serving on committees, however, is oftentimes where the real work happens, and it is a very rewarding, and I've used the word rewarding twice now. It is a impactful place to serve as a volunteer on the CMLTM committees. So I would encourage you to consider it. Having said that, the open forum is an opportunity for moving forward with the open forum. And this is an opportunity for members and the public to ask questions, make comments, or raise issues. If you have a question or comment, please use the chat function. Remember to provide your name before proceeding with your remarks. If you're using the chat, your name will show up in the chat. So that we can hear from as many individuals as possible in our allotted time, we ask that if you have a second or follow-up question, that you wait until everyone else has an opportunity to ask a question once before posing it. We have 30 minutes allocated for the open forum. Any items raised during the open forum are non-binding and for council consideration. So with that, let's open the floor. Let's have a discussion. So.
Is that the bottom of the chat function?
Yeah.
Would anyone like to start us off, even with a comment? Sometimes just hearing another voice is really welcome and gets things going. So Heather, hi. I think the open forum was a great idea. Did you feel it went well? And will you be having another one? I am assuming that you're not talking about this open forum. I think you're talking about the town hall that we had. The town hall. Thank you, Heather. And thank you, Heather, for all that you've done, all your work as well on the CMLTM. Great. My personal feeling, I think it went well. I personally feel that the CMLTM can continue to communicate and have open forums for communication with all members as we are self-regulated. I too am a member. I am regulated by the CMLTM, so is everyone, all of the professional members on council. And this is the best way to have scheduled times to bring forward our comments, questions, concerns, and just have discussions, as well as this half hour that we are in right now. I'd like to welcome any and all questions and opinions and comments and participation, because this is how we achieve this interaction and move forward and garner interest. So I would love to have more, if that's the question. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Would anyone like to speak and ask a question or raise a comment? It's always good to get another voice.
I do have one thing to point out. Of those 23 participants, when we dropped down to 2 because of our parliamentarian and our guest, we are also dropping 2 more from that number for the public representatives that are in chat. So it's actually 19 voting members.
19 voting members. Great. Thank you for showing interest. 19 voting members. I see some names I recognize on the list. Thank you for being here. Your participation is valued. Hey,
Nobody has any burning issues?
Yeah, at the risk of cutting things short.
Last year we had that.
We will. Yeah. I apologize if I sound repetitive, but I'm going to thank everyone one more time, giving anyone a chance to hopefully interrupt me or raise their hand and pose a question or comment. The AGM is an opportunity for us to come together, speak with one another, have open conversations, and here we are today. Thank you for being with us. All right, hearing no further questions or comments, we move to agenda item number 17. So it's a one-word agenda item, which is adjournment. And this concludes the business of the annual general meeting. I would like to thank all of you that are in attendance today. Thank you to all the staff that assisted in the organization of the AGM, to the CMLTM Council for their work you have done this past year, our parliamentarian, Heather, for all of her assistance in preparing for the AGM, and all who have helped to make this meeting a success. If there is no further business, the annual general meeting of the College of Medical Laboratory Technologists of Manitoba is now adjourned. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday, rest of the weekend, and those of our members who are working today, I hope that, may all of your controls be within 2 standard deviations and have a nice,
Everyone's
straightforward weekend.
now.
Well, they're
Yeah.
just thanking us. Thank you for attending.
Yeah, thank you for attending. Thank you, Harvey. Thank you, Michelle.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Yeah,
Was that one thing that?
She has a question, but she doesn't want to give it.
we have a question? Do we actually have a question?
Yeah,
She
Michelle.
doesn't want it recorded.
Oh, okay. Well,
We can stop recording.
we can stop recording. I mean, we're here. Might as well.